How's it going, everyone? Thanks for stopping by and checking out my channel. My name is Swanee, and today I'm going over Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Now, I got invited to a special behind-the-scenes preview event for the game, and today I'm finally allowed to share my thoughts on what I saw. Now, unfortunately, they didn't provide me with any new gameplay to show you guys, but they did provide some brand new screenshots, so I'll be sharing those off in the background. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys, I went into this event with absolutely no expectations. This year is packed with a ton of big releases, so when I initially heard that a new Indiana Jones game was coming out later this year, I sort of just rolled my eyes and didn't expect this game to be interesting enough to compete with all the other competition. Indiana Jones hasn't exactly been very popular the past decade, or for multiple decades now, with the past two movies being pretty big flops. Now, I loved the original Indiana Jones movies from the 80s, like Raiders of the Lost Ark and The Last Crusade, so I am a fan of the franchise. I just haven't been as invested in it in the past 15 years or so. So when Bethesda reached out and wanted to give me early access, I figured, why not? I don't really have anything to lose with this game, and I'll see what they have to show. And they didn't pay me or give me anything special. All they did was let me see a press viewing of what I think they're showing behind the scenes at Gamescom. So I just got access to like a special live stream, and I got to see like a half an hour preview thing. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. I know a lot of YouTubers get flown out to events and they can be pretty biased and stuff, and I'm in no way, shape, or form getting paid to talk about this game. And with that said, after watching this showcase, I can honestly say that after seeing it, I'm pretty excited for the game now. I went from not expecting much to come from this game at all to actually looking forward to what this game has to offer. So during the event, they had a small gameplay showcase where they showed off some new mechanics and a couple new things that they didn't show in the original trailer. They showed off some different environments, a little bit of combat, and a lot of puzzles. And the reason it has me so excited now is because it reminded me heavily of the Uncharted series, which should be obvious because Uncharted was heavily inspired by Indiana Jones. So it's kind of going full circle. It also reminded me of the National Treasure movies, which I absolutely loved as a kid, and I still love them to this day. National Treasure movies are awesome. And during the showcase, the developers said that the main focus of this game is adventure. This isn't some crazy FPS with tons of explosions. It's not fast-paced with tons of like fighting mechanics. This is a slow-paced game with tons of environmental puzzles with some combat kind of thrown in. And some of the puzzles that they were showing off looked really interesting and engaging, and it looked like something you'd see straight from the movies. One of my favorite things that they showcased was that you could wear different disguises to infiltrate different areas that would normally be off limits, and it showed them sneaking into an area wearing a disguise and trying to avoid being detected, all while trying to investigate different clues that were in the area. So stealth is definitely going to be a big factor in this game. Then they showed off one of the temples that Indy was exploring, and there was a ton of booby traps. There were spikes in the floor. One of the rooms started to fill up with sand, and you had to very quickly escape and get out before the sand filled the room and like suffocated you. They showed off some timely jumps and parkour mechanics that you had to use the whip for, which I thought that looked pretty cool. And in the temple, there was some sort of clue or artifact, and then as soon as Indy picked it up, everything went downhill from there, like in the typical movie fashion. And I think one of the reasons that I love the Uncharted games and the National Treasure movies and the original Indiana Jones movies was the sense of adventure. There's always some crazy treasure, and along the way there's clues that lead to more clues, which can lead to false clues, all while some bad guy is also on the race to find the treasure. So it always feels like you're in a rush to get to the treasure first, and any time that you spend wasted on a clue is time that the bad guy is making progress towards that treasure. And after seeing this new gameplay, it looks like they really captured the feeling of an Indiana Jones movie. And in one of the developer interviews, I think it was the game director said that Raiders of the Lost Ark was his favorite of the movies, and they took a lot of inspiration from that film. So you can really tell that the devs are big fans of this franchise when they were talking about it, which I think is a big plus. Also, on a side note, I think Troy Baker knocked it out of the park with his Indiana Jones voice. It sounds really good. It's normally pretty hit and miss with video games trying to sound like Harrison Ford, but this version of Indy sounded a lot like a younger Harrison Ford to me. Like, I was watching this trailer and this gameplay, and I was specifically trying to critique that voice, and I was really impressed with his voice work. So if the voice work is a deciding factor for you with an Indiana Jones game, I think this voice is in good hands, and I don't think you have to worry about that too much. I know some people are that way. My dad absolutely refused to see the new Han Solo movie a couple years ago just because it was a different actor and it wasn't Harrison Ford. So I know a lot of people probably feel the same way about Indy having a different voice actor. And then the final thing that I want to talk about that I saw in the preview was there was a lot of like inspecting clues and journals and like pages and paper, and there's a lot of reading, and it kind of reminded me of like LA Noire, kind of, where you pick up clues and you have to turn it around and look for a specific thing hidden on an item. There was a lot of that in the gameplay, and I'm very curious to see how in-depth that goes. Like, I wonder if there's a specific clue that we only get by reading a page from a book, and like I'm really interested to see just how difficult some of these puzzles are, because if it holds your hand and it kind of points you along in the right direction, I feel like if it's too easy, it won't be as fun. Like, I just want a good balance between them pointing you in the right direction and, you know, I want the puzzles to still be kind of challenging. So I definitely thought that that aspect of the gameplay looked really interesting. And I thought that inspecting individual items and reading journals and like writing down journal entries and stuff is a pretty cool aspect. And I hope that they really take advantage of those game mechanics. And that's pretty much going to do it for my thoughts on Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. They said that it's going to come out later in 2024, so if you're looking for a good game around Christmas time, this might be a good option, especially if you like action-adventure games like the Uncharted series and you like doing environmental puzzles. Just think of like Tomb Raider or Uncharted, but in first person. And like I said, after seeing this event, I went from not really being that impressed about this game at all and not really caring much about it to, you know, now I'm actually kind of excited and I'm looking forward to it, and this has definitely made my list of most anticipated games for 2024. So let me know what you guys think of Indiana Jones and the Great Circle down in the comment section down below. Are you guys looking forward to this game? Any and all comments are welcome, and if you made it this far into the video, consider giving it a thumbs up because it helps me out in the algorithm and I greatly appreciate it. If you're new here, consider hitting the subscribe button, that way you don't miss out on any future videos, and that's going to do it for me, guys, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.